let me just see here. Where do we leave off? Oh, hey, man. Thank you for dropping by, business. And welcome to the stream, my dude. Even if you can't stay long, that is perfectly fine. So I'm gonna start off with a small section on the entire thing that I had planned with this backlog extermination program that we wrote in Python. It's not much, but I'm just gonna do it in just chatting because I'm not gonna go into too much detail on like what it was developing and whatnot. Rather, I'm gonna introduce you to something completely different. But it is nice to mention that we actually like worked on this to some extent. So what we made is a Google Sheets page, if I can find it. Oh, could be this one right here. So, yeah, this is the Google Sheets page that we were working on. We have different versions of it, but the main thing is that this is supposed to fill up with something you get as like imported data. Right, so this is the original. So what I'll do is like this is pretty much how it would go for anybody that wants to try this. Technically, what this does is allow you to import your games from Steam. Other than that, it doesn't do much, but it gives you the ability to score your games in such a way that you can like put a priority on them, and then you can find out what it's gonna do, as in terms of like, is it going to take you too much time to finish this game? Is it even worth it depending on how much priority you put on it? It's really simple. What we've done is I made this Python script that pulls your information from Steam. As long as you have your game library public, you can get that data just by running the script, and then it makes a CSV file which you can import here into this area, and you'll be able to copy over your data. And then in the end, you'll find out that you have this many hours played and this many games unplayed and played. And then I'm thinking of making some graphics for that. So that is still ongoing. I'm just going to keep it like short and sweet. But the idea here is that you can actually go ahead and run this. Let me show you guys. All right. So this would be the one. What it does is just to run a bunch of functions that will get your library, and then it will like cross-reference it with how long to beat to see how long a game actually takes you. So in a way, what this is going to do is make sure that you have your games list from Steam and nothing other than that, and put it so that you can score them, rank them, and then switch sorting that into like, oh, this is a game that doesn't take long, but it's definitely my genre, and I can just, you know, finish it in like a weekend. Go for it, and that's like off the freaking backlog, right? Even this way, you can also go into a game and be like, oh, this I'm not gonna finish ever, so let's just, you know, put it away, and you'll shelve your game. So if we run this real quick, you'll see what it's gonna do. All right. Okay, so it's asking me for the username on the lower left corner here. What I'm gonna do here is do this one, and it's gonna start doing stuff normally. Acquiring library. So what it's doing here is actually making sure that every game is pretty much doing this portion here, acquiring library details. It's going to find the app idea, put a name on it, put the hours on record from Steam next to it, and then append it into its own array. And then we're going to put this array into a multi-array. It's going to look like this. And then these details, we're going to actually like cross-reference them in the other portion, which is down here. We're going to process it. It's going to pretty much go through it and be like, oh, okay, how many hours did he have? We're going to make another column, as it were, that says, oh, this game is unfinished. It has more than 0 hours. This means that it has been played before. And you'll be able to tell whether or not something is unplayed because, you know, it's never even been booted yet. Other than that, we're going to get the cross-references that we made with the how long to beat, because we have a best element that we get out of that, right? because we're gonna do the search function here, and then it's gonna find us all these details like who the developer is, what the release date was globally, and then you have scores from like the average ratings from the critics, I guess. It's there for your information. Like, you don't have to use all of this. It will come with the list, but even if you don't fill it in, why not fill it in? It's right there. So, and then you get to see from how long to beat. This is like one of the most crucial areas of this entire spreadsheet thing that we were doing. But I keep saying this in like the past. We were doing this. We were doing that. You know why? Because we found out there's something better. But I'll get to that. Don't worry about it. We're going to get there. The only thing is, right now, I'm trying to figure out whether or not this could be useful for some people, right? If you don't want to use another application that's going to run through a bunch of stuff, and you only need Steam as your go-to for like your games library that you want to beat, and you want to be able to keep that up, you know? Hi, Spirit. Hello. Welcome to another session in Python. Yeah, so I'm just explaining here what the original idea was. But yeah, some of that is out of the picture now that we found a better solution to going through your backlog and finishing your library of games, or at least to a certain extent, make sure that you finish them, right? But it's not always that simple, as somebody that has the crippling freaking addiction of purchasing games and never playing them. This is a real thing. Like, I mean, you might be laughing your ass off right now, but this is very crippling. Like, I could tell you this much: if you already have some certain anxiety about like picking a game that you want to try out, and you're like, oh man, I have 20 games. I'm gonna keep it small right now, just as an example. I have 20 games that I recently purchased. Where should I start, or what do I play? And I'm not even sure about 5 of these. And now imagine that times like 20, right? There's like 2,000 games. There are people out there that have 2,000 games, and they only played like what, 10%? It might be more, but like, I'm just saying, it is a certain thing where you're like, oh wow, I didn't realize people could have that many games and like be okay with it. No, they're not okay with it. Anybody that has a backlog is definitely like thinking about one day they're gonna start working that thing and hopefully finish it. But it's not always that easy. So once we have our thingies, and this time I'm using myself as an example, Spirit. People, you mean Zen? Well, I can't really say anything on that because I'm part of a thing as well. If you look at the bottom right here, you will see that the terminal line as output here is changing. It is counting up to 716. That's the amount of apps that I have. But that also includes original soundtracks and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Although I am only looking at a games list, but there are applications in there. So you will see your aim labs and whatnots also show up in there, because we are technically only looking for the element that says game. You see? I don't know to what detail that maybe Zen can enlighten us on this, but I know that is the one thing that I'm looking for. There might be other IDs there as well. But either way, this means that in a bit, it's going to start using the data that we got, that we're putting in multi-arrays. We're going to be able to put that in a CSV, and it's going to write it into a new file. And I'm not sure if I have deleted my old file. Maybe I should do that before it starts writing. So I'm just going to delete mine. So we still have yours and that for of Zen, but it's like a different version of the list. And we still have those 0 games as well, games that are like delisted, which I did not fix yet. I'm still going to do that, but I just wanted to like go over what is going on here and how we're going to approach it now. And this is where the other application comes in. So I'm going to be honest, this is like the first time I'm going through it on the stream, because Zen was explaining it to me before, right? What this is pretty much something that I stumbled upon while Googling ways to get tags from the Steam store, right? Steam works with tags since like 2014 or something, and that allows it to list games for you when you just look for like Warhammer 40k, and it will like show you the games that are Warhammer 40k because the community decided to put that tag on there, or the developer got the ability to put that tag on there. Makes it easier for everybody to find the games that they're looking for, right? But when I was trying to find a way to get that information, I was like, hey, well, how weird is it that this is not in the backend API of Steam itself, like we're doing here with like the XML, right? Why isn't there a thing that says, oh, this store page where we get to see the tags. I want to get an XML of it that says all the freaking elements of a tag. But no, that's not how it works. So what we have to do is actually just open the website up in the Python script, really, and just it's happening here at the top. Actually, it's gonna scrape it for information. So I made this function here that goes to the web page with the game ID that we got from the previous operation, and that's what's taking so long right now. So if my list of 716 applications is gonna take like 7 minutes in total, let's say, it's going up as well, by the way. But when it's gonna take that long and it's gonna have a list, I mean, for Zen, this would probably like be upwards of 40 minutes or more, depending on what CPU he's running, right? Yeah, it's a cool thought. So now here we go. Here is the contender. Welcome to Play Night. This is a application. I'm gonna get out of the way here so you can see it. Oh boy, it's an application. This application here is gonna grab all of your libraries. Forget Steam. This is gonna grab everything. This is gonna grab Amazon Games. This is gonna grab Battle.net. This is gonna grab Epic. Because Epic is freaking handing out games at this point. It's like, oh, maybe 3 of these are my own purchases because I couldn't wait to play something that was exclusive to the Epic Store, but the other ones are just like claimed stuff. But yeah, as you can see on Battle.net, it's the classics. It's the classics. I mean, can't go wrong with those, I guess. And then we have this stuff going on, and then we have GOG, obviously. That it is, I don't know. It is okay. I think this is a reasonable backlog in a certain platform, but Steam is just unreasonable. We're going to get there. Then you have Humble. Hello, Serafia. Welcome. Then you have the Humble list. I mean, these are mostly also like games or applications that you can run, right? I don't know if it's including books as well, but you get all of these choices in the beginning when you actually start this. So when you start logging in the accounts that you're going to use on this application, it's going to ask you what types of information you want to pull from these websites, because some of them they give you the ability to play songs, right? Like the original soundtracks or even books. Some vendors have books, like Humble has books, for example. And then we have itch.io. If you're wondering what this is a bunch of like free to play games. Itch.io has a lot of like demo games as well, or like other types of things that you can just claim and put in your library because some developer was like, hey, this was just a side thing. I enjoyed making this. Here you go. And sometimes those things actually turn into full games when the community like pushes for the developer to go with it. You know, it's like your first contact with a certain audience for a type of game, which is kind of cool. And then you have the EA app. I mean, most of these purchases, or at least like some of them, I think, are like also through just claiming it somewhere. I can't remember having made a purchase of like Jade Empire. Like, it's probably a good game. It's like BioWare and its freaking prime, or just before their prime, I guess. But yeah, here I go again. I'm reminiscing about these games for no reason, other than to put them in a list so I can like freaking scratch them off there and be like, yes, I'm done with this. It's over. So then we have Steam. Now here's where the problems start. When you change these, you don't get to like see how many you have because this is the filter that is on right now. You see? And what it's doing for me as well, if we just go to, I don't know if this works. Does that work? I don't think it worked. No, it's still there. Never mind. I was just going to say, I keep getting this notification that says, failed to import games from Battle.net, but it's been happening every single time I reboot this application. But it has the games that I have on Battle.net, so it's a Battle.net thing. Maybe it's because I have the authenticator activated. But here is the games that really matter. This is the same list we're pulling right now with our Python script, which we've moved into the second phase. Hell yes. This time it didn't crash like when we started. It's going to go through it and make them into a CSV. So now we have the actual data being combined into this monstrosity, I was going to say almost, but into this somewhat neatly looking package, right? So with that out of the way, we can go back into the actual application. And it starts out like this. You open the application, you sign in to the very first application that it says like, hey, do you want to pull data from like games, books, and original soundtracks, or do you just want games? And then you can like tick that off, and then it's going to start serving you all the platforms that it has integrated into like giving you your library in a moment. Before it downloads them, it's going to need you to authenticate, right? Once that is done, it will start the whole thing. Your list will start gradually growing, and then you'll start seeing the other vendors or the platforms popping up here. When you go to all, you'll see all of them being added, which is kind of cool, but it does not automatically take care of duplicates. I'm going to get to that. So there's a thing where it doesn't really know that, oh, this is Alan Wake, and I have Alan Wake here as well. Wait, this is on Steam and this is on Epic. Okay, whatever. I'll just put them right next to each other. So that's how it works. So there's still some manual labor that needs to happen before this is ready to be used. Let me put it that way, right? You have to put in some time to fix this for yourself and see how you want to arrange it. There are lots of options. Then you have Ubisoft Connect, as you can see. And for every one of these platforms, all of them end up here. When you go into all, you can decide what you want to show. There are things like icons. Do you want icons? That's like a little box art or like an icon of a logo of a game. Then you can show the platform, which library it's from. That means where you have bought it. So platform means like, it was on consoles. It was like on the Xbox 360. It was, let me just show you. So this library here, when I like sort it, you can tell that it's doing the thing where it's just showing them by name. And if you want to like sort again by name, just like this, instead of the library name, you can put it on the game's name. But when you do that, you can see that it says Xbox, itch.io, Ubisoft, Amazon, Epic, and so on it goes. These are the purchases you've made. This means that the online platform where you have purchased it. If I turn on platform here, it's going to show me, probably at the end of this list, let me just close this filter here. This is going to show me something completely different. This is going to show me where that the game was made available on. You see? So for your own information, you can put this here, but this doesn't really matter to me. So this was on by default, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but by default, it gives you a bunch of them. And I was like, okay, for me, this doesn't make sense. Okay, it's nice that I can like, oh, here are all my 360 games that I've purchased online on the Xbox game store, right? On the Xbox console itself, probably. But nowadays, you can just purchase games on the website as well. Either way, I decided for myself that this is not necessary. I just turned it off. I was like, okay, well, this is going to be the place where I put my user score, and I'm going to make my own categories. The categories that I made for myself are important in this aspect because I'm going to show you the following thing. The filter that you can use on any of these is quite interesting. So this gives you the ability to actually like go into how you want to sort things by genre. You have all the classic genres that you would imagine, but you're going to need this because unlike the one that we made in the Google Sheets project, you do not have the tags here. So the tags are empty. If you're wondering why, I'm wondering the same thing. I'm not going to lie. I'm wondering about the same thing right now. Why is there no tags in here, even though like Steam uses them? And if you like decide to go into here and look for like tags, I haven't seen any game have a tag. Even if I just go on Steam here and we just turn this off here, none of the games here have a tag. So they are not using any form of scraping to do the thing that we did. So there might be a solution to that. I've been thinking about it. I will try and explain it to you in a moment. So we have all of these games and we want to put a filter on it, right? I will go to all. And I've made my own filter already to showcase this. I can give you like a prettier view as well, which is the grid view. But here you see the problem. These are games. These are all my games, apparently. I have Def Jam Icon. You remember that game? That game was ballin'. I swear. That was a good game. It was very flashy, although I like the original a bit better. Either way, there are a bunch of box covers here that are missing. I wonder why. Like, I thought this application would be able to like provide everything, right? But this is due to something that the platforms do, either like on their front end or their back end. Something goes wrong, and most of them are not labeling their game by the same name that the title on their storefront has. Because to my knowledge, this application, like for Xbox games, is pulling this from a storefront, but for some reason in the back end, the semicolon that is right next to the 3 might not be there. They might have called it single player instead of just campaign, because Crackdown 3 was supposed to have a multiplayer portion that bombed really hard. But either way, this is kind of annoying to me. I don't want to see box art that is like broken. I want to see like my games. And like when you go down a little bit more, it's less obvious, but it's still there. Like, why is the box art missing, dude? Okay. And then sometimes you even have games that are not games. These are like tests. I've already put away a couple, but I'm pretty sure I left a couple of them in so I can like show it to you. Most of the time you'll see older games like Medal of Honor Airborne. That was a good game. That was a pretty okay game. Oblivion. And then you have things like, if you go to Ubisoft Connect and I go to like category none, you will see everything, right? But if I do live service games, wait, I need to first do this. Hold on. Backlog overview. Yeah, and then go to Ubisoft. Genre? Was it genre that's supposed to? Yeah, okay. So here's the thing. When you put the genre on none, because it is unlabeled then technically, you start seeing these things. This is the PPS, and like this is clearly some kind of test server, public test server. You see it here, PTS. So this was probably like the public early access beta or something, or like some other realm. But either way, you have public test servers going on in here. But these are not games necessarily. So you'd have to edit them out. What you have to do is give it a category. Why is this? Because I already made a couple, and I'll show you how you can do it, right? I had more games here, especially in like the all section. If I go to this one, for example, and I pull up the info, it looks like this, right? If I want to like edit it, I just have to click here. And I can be like, oh, okay, well, it's not finding it clearly because it's like a public test server thingy. It's like a build of the game that you were able to install. But this is not necessarily information that we need. So instead, what you can do, instead of editing it, you can right click it and be like, set a category. And then you get the option to write something in here like test servers or whatevers, right? Once you do that, you can decide not to do that as well. Because I already have one. You can make your own depending on how you want to sort it. But to me, it was test builds. This is clearly a test build, public test server. It doesn't matter. If you get another startup application for that, you're going to have to use that. And I don't need that. So I can just like put it in test builds. It's going to like pop out of here because it's going to get a category now. It's gone. You would think it's gone. But if I do now test builds, it will pop up again. And then if I unclick none, it'll be like the, this is the frontline thing was the one I put away. Right? So this is how you would like organize it for yourself. I would put it on none if I were you, because that's what you start with. But then you start making categories for the oddities that you see. Right? If you just put it on all again, you'll start seeing oddities everywhere. But these boxes are the problem for me. I want to fix all of this, right? Because this one is a DLC, Honest Hearts, Fallout New Vegas, brilliant game. You had DLC for it. They tried to like put some content out. That was great, good times. And this is on Epic. I'm willing to bet that I have Fallout New Vegas on Steam as well, and it's gonna like linger in here somewhere. If you want to do that, you can always like search per game as well, but I have not used that yet. So here's a good one. So let's just do Fallout, right? And then it will like immediately show you here already with the icons that it could find. That you can like, oh, Fallout New Vegas. I played it on Windows. It has the Steam icon right there. It's perfect. This is what I was looking for all along. But no. When you click this, you will see that it's gonna like show you the game that you're looking for. So if I just enter it, it will just go to the Fallout thingy here, and it's gonna like try and install it or something. So when you do enter like that, it immediately like runs it apparently, which is not a good idea. That is not a good idea to have. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. So instead of just doing that here, this clearly is like the, dude, give me my game. I want to install this right now. That is the magnifier there. I had to go here. I had to go there, not here. So here you would write Fallout. If I could still write Fallout. And then you see all of these versions. Now, if I clear all the categories, then you can see them. Because we had genres selected to none. And that's when you see this kind of stuff. So how I would like condense this information is once you have the actual list of games and you're like, hey man, I want to see like all my games. When you have none selected, it starts like this. But you get this view, and it's like super ugly, right? And you want to get rid of this view, and what you end up doing is like, hey, this looks nice, a grid. Whoa, okay, that's good. And what is this? It's a filter, right? You would go from being lost in the sea of games, which is unbelievable to think about. Like, what is this? Who has this many games? Why do this to yourself? And why are there like 3 copies of Fallout? Fallout New Vegas. Like, okay, I'm not going to judge you. That's a good game, but why did you have to buy it 3 times? You know? You will quickly find out that you can change all of this. All right? You can stick to the list or you can stick to the grid, but it's up to you. What you're going to end up doing is looking to see like, okay, are these actual games on a platform, or what is this like some kind of redeem code that I used and that I have, or whatever, right? You're going to have to find out for yourself. So what you do is you start ticking these off. You would be like, oh yeah, okay, this is the platform I want to see. Like, what the hell is none? Well, what is none as a platform? And you'll quickly find out that some of them are actually games. They're just wrongly labeled by platform for some reason. Like the developer might have forgotten to fill in some details that are like not obligatory on Steam's backend for developers. And you end up with something like that. But for yourself, just start out with the platforms that you have the games on, or that they were available on. Then in the library, you should just leave it like this so you can see all of your games. But then in genre, you're going to have to do none. And that's like when you see all of the problems, problem games show up. And I don't have that many, but there are plenty. That's going to take me a while, right? We're going to do that in a bit, but we can jump into the Google Sheets thing that I was going to explain to you guys, because that operation is going to be done. Let me just check. I think I need to still answer a few questions. So we're just going to quickly hop in there. Yes, it's saying, oh, what do you want to do? Do you want to do it alphabetically? Yes, that is an alphabetic. And then I want to do it in the ascending order. Thank you very much. And we have a file. All right, cool. So that can go out of the way. For myself, this has been the easiest way. Let me just put it that way. There's no other way, if you ask me, to get a grip on this entire library thing without like finding the error first. Like, oh, action? What is action again? Gameplay recording and streaming? Okay. But why doesn't it have like a thing? Why doesn't it have a platform? Or why is it in this list? Because we put the genre on none, right? If we decide to give this a genre, it's going to pop out of here. Yeah. So action is just software. That is literally the genre I would give it. So if I do edit, I can go into genre and I can like try and look for it. And if it's not there, I don't think I can make it. But you can always put it in something that is like vague, right? You wouldn't put it in adventure or arcade. Maybe you would just put it in indie. It's just software, dude. And it's kind of, oh, never mind. I'm not telling you the whole truth. I can make a new genre. Fucking hell. All right. Software. Everything is software, but you can call this anything you want, right? So for me, general software is not considered a game. So I'm going to go with software. And if I click OK, it's going to pop out of here because it's not going to adhere to the genre being on none. Right? It's gone. It's fixed. I already saw that I gave it something else as well. I gave it the category tools. So I've given it like the most information I can without having to look it up, because looking up metadata on the International Games Database, like I wouldn't imagine it's going to find anything because it's not considered a game, not even on Steam, right? The official store, which didn't provide this information. Either way, that is done and dusted, and we have other games here now. This is also one that doesn't have a category or like a genre, because we haven't given these a genre yet, because these are the problem situations.
Oi.
Right? We encountered this one before because it didn't have a category before. It was on none. But we fixed that and it's still here. So technically, if you want to go through the problems, all of the problems, you would start going by genre being on none and category being on none, and then going through it. And like, okay, wow, what is this? Wallpaper engine? I know this is called like a productivity tool or something. Somewhere in Steam, there is a label that says a productivity tool. Either way, wallpaper engine is one of those. It is, when you're here, might as well use the new one that you made, right? We have software in here as a list. Software. And this is also a category of tool. It is a tool. It's a wallpaper engine tool. It makes it pleasurable for you to watch your freaking desktop background. There you go. It's done. It's gone. This is the type of awesome editing work you can do. It can be like kind of calming, if you ask me. This can be very therapeutic, filling in lists, ordering things. I'm kind of weird like that. Okay, I'm not gonna lie about it. I think it's kind of cool that I get to work on this and be like totally zen about the fact that I have to finish how many games? Let me just go into the chart mode. The chart mode will provide you with an overall look at how many games you have, which is 2,463, which are probably also a lot of like side stuff, like you saw earlier. These are freaking test servers. These are original soundtracks. These are graphic novel versions of a game that you get with special edition. A second launcher for a game, for example. That could be things that pop up in that total count. Why? We just recently purchased Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr, which also has an expansion, and that expansion has its own launcher. So that gets a separate ID, it seems like. But either way, we can still customize this list. It is not locked the way you get it when you import it, right? You can work on this, and that's why this app is actually like a blessing. This is the perfect thing to fix all of your backlog problems. Like when you get overwhelmed, you're going to be able to like hop in here and be like, okay, how do I do this? Like, how do I make sure that I can find a game? And you can be like, oh, today I feel like playing a shooter, you know, or I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going to play a strategy game. You can go for that. You can just make sure that you order the list first. You put all the mistakes in order. You fix all of these issues where no genres and no categories end up with stuff like Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty goodies collection. The hell are you telling me? Like, why is this in here? It's a GOG thing because they can't label their DLC as something separate. Why is this listed as an app? Right? Or it's just taking all of the purchases. Maybe that's the only way GOG provides this information. It's always different. Because each platform decides how much information they want to give. Some of the stuff on Steam is locked behind another wall, which you need to get like an API key for. Yeah, you need to show some credentials. But either way, you have this, and it like takes all of those platforms and puts it into one. You have a little bit of fixing to do before you can utilize it the way I just mentioned. Or you can be like, hey man, today, I'm not really feeling it. So let's give you like an example, right? I made a filter, which this one saves everything that you have selected here. If I switch this on to my backlog overview, which is that's what I'm going to call it. As you can see, all the gray boxes are gone. Now, here comes the fun part. because we found out a way that you can customize the look of this thing. You can make it look super neat. I'm going to give you a couple of examples in a second, but we'll first go over this here, what I did, right? Prototype is a good example. This was one of those games that I couldn't find information on. So it was a gray box and it said like nothing in the information section. Like it did say like Xbox, Microsoft Store. That's where it got the information from, but it didn't know like who the hell made the game, or it didn't know like, oh, what the links were for their like socials, right? So what you do is you either right click it or you go to the pen here and you can do a download metadata. Now, for me, it was weird because these brackets, these square brackets, they end up being like a problem for the search term, right? And I think that's what like originated the problem where it didn't have all of these critic scores and stuff populated, right? So what you do is you just click here, download metadata, and like preferably when you see the second option that says like official store, that just means like it got the data from Epic, but the data from Epic is not even like complete. It doesn't have the details like, oh, what did the Peggy rating board give it, or like what was the name of the series or whatever, right? These are not populated, and that's where the international game database comes in, right? You click that and it's going to search for it with the title that was at the other screen, and then you can see like prototype 2009. Okay, that's interesting. There are a bunch of other prototypes. What is this? This is completely different, so that's probably not the game you're looking for. I know that it had a re-release, but like that wasn't like too long ago. But so this makes sense. So prototype 2009 and then prototype 2 2012. That makes sense. So it's this one clearly, right? If you select it, it's gonna be like, hey, dude, we just found box art. Do you want to use this? Of course. Why wouldn't I want to use this? And then it's up to you. Do you like do you want letters on there, or do you want just the dude? You know, do you want Alex Mercer? What you do is you take this one because I mean, you're a sensible person. You need to use the logo. Come on. That's how you had it in your hand when you bought the physical copy back in the day before you traded in and regret your life mistakes, I guess. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that you made decisions that ended up having the game on a digital platform rather than having a physical copy. You might have both. Lucky you. I don't have that, and I bet I could probably find it. If I had disposable income like that, I would probably do that. Download the metadata. Yes, let's do it. So we got the data, but now it's not filling in much anymore. Now, here's the thing. Clearly, it had some details before in my very first version where I noticed that it had Fun Labs, but Fun Labs is the ones that is the developer that did like the remaster of the game where they ported it to modern systems with like the dual pack for like prototype 1 and 2 together, which was kind of a cool deal. And that's how I got it on Xbox, by the way. So either way, I decided not to take the regular Radical Entertainment one because I want to know which developers have worked on it like completely. I know Radical Entertainment made the original, but then Fun Labs brought it to this generation. So the very first time I did this, I had much more of a choice to fill in the blanks. You know, I was like, oh, holy shit, I can put this on, I can put that on, and all right, cool. And then you just press select and it goes on and then it gives you this. And then you're like, okay, it's safe, right? But now prototype just disappeared because it went into the name that I gave it. But out of clarity's sake again, by doing this, prototype is not at the top anymore. And that is maybe a better way of doing it, because if I go prototype, then you should suspect that there should be one here that says prototype 2 because I own that. Now, that's where the cleanup crew comes in. Like we said before, you're not going to find that if your filter here is different. So if I do all now and then do prototype, it's going to find something completely different, right? But putting that on all made it so that I don't have the search term anymore. But yeah, apparently you can fill it in here as well, and then it finds it as well. So that is cool. It's on the right. If I just move out of the way here, you can tell. But yeah. So what happens is you're going to have to make sure that you find the second one and find out why it's not showing up here. So is it missing a genre? No, there's nothing like that in missing genres. Is it missing a category? All right. Now, I'm pretty sure it's called prototype, right? I have to like make the search term smaller. No tags. I'm pretty sure I have the second one. Match all filters? It doesn't find it, bro. I'm pretty sure I have it, though. Now, the question is, why is it not doing that? Match all filters? Is that it's gonna like do all of them, right? If enabled, only games that use all the items in all the filters will be included in the view. If disabled, games that use any of it will be included in the view. Right, so if you leave this open, if you leave everything open, that is the most amount of hits you can get. So why does it think Pt.3 is not in my library, even though I pulled my Xbox library? I've read that there are some problems with it, but it didn't really occur to me that that could be that problematic. Okay, well, now that we know that, we should just stick to our guns and leave it at that for the introduction to this application, right? Here comes the other portion of this. The other portion right now, for me, is having the CSV open in the Google Sheets program that we have. So I made a copy of the Google Sheets. There it is. Oh, I did not make a copy yet. Maybe that is an interesting one. And so this is the backlog application that we made, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that we have a copy. File, duplicate. Okay, so we call this the Blazing Backlog Exterminator 2024. Then I can close this one. My internet doesn't poop. Then we'll be golden. Okay. Good. Now we're going to be able to import the data here, right? Now, can I just drop this in here? What happens then? Oh, it just downloads it again? Well, that's not what we're looking for. File import. I think I can just do it this way, where it imports it. I can upload it, drag a file. I can drag a file. All right, it's 252 kilobits, by the way. That is not a lot for like 700. And like 636 is for like Zen's library, which is a really, really big library. But yeah, here goes. So what we did last time was like replace current sheet, which is fine. Or you can insert new sheets, which I'm not really a fan of because I made the ordering on the top. So then you can just do replace current sheet or like insert. No, it's going to have to replace it completely. All right. Detect automatically. This should be fine. If you import it now, it's going to pop into the import sheet. Right? Is it not? Okay, there it is. Holy smoly, that took longer than expected. I have absolutely no idea why it took that long, but okay. We have a special script here for multi-select data validation. Like, you should be seeing this, by the way. This is something that I pulled some information from Google, and I was like, okay, maybe I should put this in there because Google Sheets on its own does not allow for multi-tagging. So you can't have a drop-down. Like, for example, here in the backlog that we made, this drop-down cannot have multiple selections. So if this was like a checkbox drop-down, you couldn't make the games actually like search through each other by having multiple of these playthroughs or whatever, or like platforms that you had it on, right? See, you can like select these, but you can't be like, oh yeah, I last played it on Xbox and on PC, which would be a weird one, but either way, you don't get the choice here. So in order to help that, we made this, right? Where we have these hyperlinks and everything that we're going to make sure works. But as you can see, the tags that we made are like separated by commas. Why did we do that? Good question. The whole idea here is to give the ability for the tags to do a filter in Google Sheets, and that's the best solution you have. Because there's one where you can give it a styling where it just separates it with commas, and it literally takes this input data. So it works. All right. So the next thing you would want to do here is do like a Control F search, right? And then find the missing thingies. And if you want to have the explanation again, by importing this in Google Sheets, it didn't allow for like the command that we put in it to immediately like save itself. So what it did is put like an asterisk or like one of those quotations in front. Hey, what's up, Zangief? Welcome, my dude. So we're finally here. I'm gonna like round off this entire Google Sheet thingy. And yes, thank you for the googly eyes, by the way. This is very aptly moment thingy here. So the timing couldn't be any better. When we remove this, you shall see that this becomes a hyperlink with an image and it becomes your box art. But you need to allow the access first. So once we do that, you will see a box art. I can just show you real quick. Like this, right? And this is the data that we're looking for. But we fixed that. The only problem is that Google Sheets, when it was importing, it decided to put the semicolon in front. So now if we just do search within formulas and replace all, that will see that it's going to replace those as well. And then everything is fine. Now it's going to start loading all of these pictures. There you have all of your box art, right? That's kind of cool. So what are we going to do? We're going to take all of this information now and put it in the working sheet, which is, this is the import of everything that you have on Steam, right? All the linkage and everything. And then I just didn't select the top row, which is just the titles. I can just copy this, go into here, go into the second position, which is A2, press Control V, and then it's going to like fill everything here. But we don't want that. We're going to be like, hey, I thought that was the plan. Yes, but do not overwrite what we have. So you have to do a special paste. And thank God for Control Z. Come on, Control Z is the best thing, man. When you make a mistake, just Control Z. What you do is you're just going to paste the values. So only values. It doesn't say anything for formulas. Since the formula is the value, it just works. There you go. Now you have a score. You have all of the stuff that I wanted out of this list with like, oh, look at that. The formatting is perfect. And it just works like magic. I think this is a very neat way of looking at your backlog. It doesn't have to be much. And like you can simply, oh, aim labs, is that not a game? Oh, okay, it's just for practicing your aim. I don't do that. I'm not an athlete like that, you know? You can be like, hide this row. Oh, yeah. Do not show this again for 5 minutes. No, this is a thing that I implemented because some of the rows are doing some calculations which you cannot touch. If you touch those, they're going to break. They're not going to work anymore. It's not going to show you the amount of time you've spent as like dates, right? I made it so that the hours from Steam translate into days, hours, minutes, and seconds even, right? If you really wanted that, you could do that, but I didn't do that. But yeah, I'm going to hide it for now. As you can see, we've hidden aim lab, right? But yeah, now you have filters. You can be like, hey, I want to tag something that has one of these things in there, or maybe some of those things in there. But you could just be like, hey, filter condition, it should be like text contains, does not contain, starts with, ends with, is exactly I wouldn't use because all of the data in there is everything, right? So value for formula would be FPS, right? And then you'd be like, okay. And then it's going to show all of the games that have the FPS tag. And is this correct? Well, not always, but maybe because this APB MMO game had like multiple camera angles, maybe it was like a third-person game. Does anybody remember this game? You should be able to click on these, but now it's not allowing me to do that, which I'm wondering why, because that was the whole point of having this box art be clickable. It's empty. So I'm guessing it did not copy its values correctly. Or maybe it's because it's doing this here, right? Is that, no, that is not the reason. Okay, then we're gonna try and fix that. We're gonna see why it's not doing the thing where I have it here that it shows you a link that you can click where you can go to the Steam database. Now I've added this one because Steam database is kind of cool with all the data, if you ask me. Because it gives you a lot of insight into like, whoa, what was the last time that this was on sale? Like, what the hell? Look at this, 17,000 players on 7 days to die. Holy shit, man. But yeah, you can get app info, latest build and everything. You can find localization information. You can just look at screenshots and data and everything. You can get the charts. And this is the lovely stuff. Everybody loves charts. Yeah, you can see the player count and everything. Viewers right now, Twitch stats. That's not a bad view count, you guys. Holy shit, 7 Days to Die is alive? I did not see that coming, but okay, maybe it's just me. It's probably just me. But yeah, it's cool like that. So having those links is kind of important to me, dude. Why wouldn't you want to have that? Look at this. The first one where you press the title, it's actually how long to beat. It's kind of cool. Why do I want this? I think I'm just gonna like, even though I like that application that I showed you, it's freaking perfect in a way. But the way I did it is like, I have a profile on how long to beat. I have room to make a review for this game, right? Look at my review. It's Minecraft meets forests, the forest essentially. I'm glad they brought back the procedural generation side of things because it was gone for a while. I remember that. I pretty much remember that, and I wrote this a week ago. However, it has never felt the same again as the Greenlight early access days, and that is just merely for me. Maybe I was used to playing this game with a friend. I don't know. And maybe that friend is not gaming with me anymore or something, and I don't play the game anymore. You know, stuff like that happens. And you like fall off a game, even though like you really like it. You have 88 hours and 33 minutes, which this was also imported data from Steam into how long to beat because they have something similar. Wait, is this game still in early access? That is the part that cracks me up every single time, I swear. But it's cool. It's cool. So I want to be able to come in here and be like, yeah, man, I freaking finished this. I'm gonna put this in my games list, and it's like on the Xbox that I finished it, right? I'm just saying. I'm not gonna finish this on Xbox. The PC version is far superior. But yeah, you know what I mean. So this is why we need the links, you guys. We cannot do it without the links. So I'm gonna retry what I did and see where I went wrong. So put it at A2, go all the way down to where it ends for you, and then be like, I'm gonna Control C this, go into Backlog. We're gonna overwrite everything here. But like, I should be able to paste this somehow. Formula only? Formula only. Is that the right way? Formula only. Oh, of course. All right, so that's how you copy it in. This is my own work. I swear. Yeah. Last time we did it like this, also just on the stream as well. I still haven't like accounted for where the game is released in the year 0. Let's quickly demonstrate that. 0. There are either 1 or 2 games in my library that are like in the year 0, I think. Why is it not showing that, bro? Where did I do the search term? Oh, never mind. I turned 0 off. 0 should be on, but we should just use the conditional thingy. Text contains 0. Just do that. Why is it not showing that either? Oh boy. Does it need to refresh or something? Why is it not showing it? Mosquito 0, Seraphia 2? What happened? You got some mosquitoes? That's awesome. What'd you use? Your bare hands? You badass like that? But yeah, since I'm not doing any developer work or fixing any bugs or whatever, I didn't decide to go on with the developer side of stream. I just decided to just go in just chatting, right? All right, there it is. I found it. Holy shit. I had to manually deselect everything. Thanks, Google, for nothing. Because apparently it's not doing it right. But I'll look into these, and like, if you have any questions, just ask, you know. Put them down in the comments below, if you will. But yeah, either way, this is something I'm also going to post on Reddit, obviously. Because there is some crediting to be done. There is some general information that comes with the rules, because Breen Machine is somebody that decided to make some of this together with, I don't know, he started the list, just made this into a separate location. I could show you his original list as well at some point. Can I just find him? If I just like Google it, Breen Machine backlog. This is the original post. My take on the Google Sheets backlog assist tool. So this guy went in and he was like, yeah, this Gasper Korea was one of the first people that like had a solution for it with like an Excel spreadsheet. And he decided to take it to Google Sheets, right? And this is his version. this is pretty much the data that he like also pulled from Steam, and the priority and the hours. This is the formula, which again was originally somebody else's idea to do just a normal distribution of power of like the hours, right? When you do the normal distribution with like the amount of priority you give it and make it into points, it's explained here. But yeah, either way, this was the original one that I based it off of. So technically, this guy based it off of somebody else's work, and I based my work off of their work. And that's when you end up with something as awesome as this, where you can like just filter games. Select clear all, just put okay. Yeah, sure. And then you have your list, right? And like it's differently sorted now, but you should also be able to sort A to Z. Yes. And then you have all your developers from A to Z, right? I think this is cool, you guys. Somebody can use this. I think it's awesome. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this portion of the stream. I mean, other than that, this is gonna be for you, where you can be like, hey, I have a game. Now I can't really, I kind of fucked up the sorting here. If we just want to sort it by title again, that is the best way to do it. Right? And then you have your games, starting with the original one that we saw, which is 7 Days to Die. And then you would be like, okay, apparently I'm on a playthrough. Why is it on a playthrough? Because I checked the hours and I made sure that your data is set like that in the, here, right? Here, when I say like it's unfinished or is finished or unplayed. So if it's unfinished, you have hours, and if it's unplayed, it sets 0. And that's literally what's going on here. I fill in that data, make sure that you get a count. You can up this if you want, because I don't know how many times you've played through it, right? But 7 Days to Die could be like one of your most favorite games, though. And it's like, man, I already put so many hours into it. How many hours was it? 88 hours, right? What you do is you look at your playtime and decide for yourself whether or not you still want to play this. Because technically, 7 Days to Die is a survival game, and those can go on for years if you really wanted to. It all depends on you. So what you have to do here is make sure that you give it a priority so you get your points allocated. Here's the thing. I made it so that if you have a game that where the main and extra side quests or side objectives or like achievements get into the number counting of how many hours it is to beat, this is kind of based on how long to beat, which is based on people's experiences, right? So if you think about it, it's going to give you a point on how many hours you've played it, cross-referencing the one with main plus extras. Because all styles is so fuzzy to me. Like, I don't understand how they came up with the number for all styles. I'm not sure. But to me, completionist is way out of whack. So this is like, this makes sense. 452 hours for 7 Days to Die makes sense to me. Why do I say this? Because yeah, survival games can go on. Like, people still play Minecraft. Some people might not want to know how many hours they have on Minecraft, but yeah. But to me, this makes more sense to build your hours played off of, because that is like the median, I think, somewhere. And then you get points, and like a game can have more points depending on the weight it gets for the total points here, right? Let's have a look if we're missing anything. Did I go over everything here? Yeah, so you have some room here for reviews and content and a personal score if you really wanted to. And then you can see like, are you really harsh? Or you could probably like, I can make it so that in the data, I can show you how many times you've used the game score of 7 out of 10. Yeah, so it's kind of fun. All right, you can use this to your heart's content and import your games. And every now and then you can import it again and do it again. But like, I'll be careful about what you're importing, because I do not have a way to like cross-reference this to a file. In order to do that, I would have to reuse the very first file you did, so you wouldn't have to like move it out of the way. Those are like additional things I can add to it. So I'll put this on GitHub. You'll be able to find it there. If I add those things, you'll be able to see it when I push it through. All right. So that's going to be it for now. And I've been thinking about what I should play today. last time we were playing that Rip Out game. I don't know if you guys remember. It's kind of like a horror corridor shooter type of game. And technically, since we just pulled this after I got it, I should be able to look for it here, right? If I go title, and now I just go by filter by condition, text contains, it contains Rip Out, right? This should show it to us. Yeah. It's not showing it to us. I wonder why. Guess it does not contain anything by that name. Maybe just Rip. Dead Island Riptide Edition it finds. Okay, so my Steam library that it like exports is not up to date yet. Strangely enough. But there you go. It also tells you like you have to wait a couple of days before you do that. Maybe it's also because I didn't play after my purchase. That might make sense. I need to play it after the purchase I made. I played it during the free weekend, so that's why it's probably not showing up right now. I don't know where I clicked, but there you go. Yes. Okay. Good. Yeah, man. So this is gonna take some time as well. I might as well put on the hat and do a couple and like show you how it goes again, right? Let me just put this on for brevity's sake. This is usually how the stream starts for me. By just putting this on, because we're going to game and it's gonna get hot in here when these consoles and PCs are running games and stuff, man. My sweat dropping me from my eyebrows, you know? All right. Good. We're ready to go. So, as I said before, you're going to need to use a filter for this. The hell? We're going to make sure that we have our backlog selected. And then I can go... The way I'm doing it now is just to avoid, like, similarities. But before I continue, I should also add the theme that I wanted to show you guys, right? So you have options for this application. I almost forgot to mention a couple of things, actually. You have the settings of this thing where you can select your theme right here, which you can download in the community. You can either create your own, but you can get themes from the community as well. And they look a little something like, let me show you. Add-ons. Yeah, there it is. So you have libraries that you can import, but it does that automatically when you start it in the beginning. And here are like the themes for the desktop mode. You have some pretty cool looking themes, but it depends on what you want, right? For your backlog. Days looks cool, but it's not finding it on the GitHub user content, which is weird to me. Like I would want to try it, but if I can't like see it, how long ago it has been updated, I wouldn't be into it. And it hasn't been updated for a year, even though the app Play Night is being updated regularly. So I wouldn't use this technically, right? But yeah, I'll just show you a theme or two. You can just press download and it'll download it and you'll be able to open it when it downloads. And it'll like install it for you. And when you select it, it's going to ask you to restart the application and it will look a little something like this, right? I have a really cool one. It's like the NARS Night that I really like. So if I put this on, I'll need to restart and it will cancel all downloads. That is fine. And sometimes I notice that it doesn't immediately restart, but now it's like seemingly doing it. There it is. It's dark. It's red. I like it. This is the way I always imagine having my library view. Like if I would have imagined a front end to the application that I was making in Google Sheets, like even if it was using that as a backend, and if I had like a front view, it would look something similar to this actually. So, like before, we can do this now. Like we can sort the things that we saw before. It just looks a bit easier on the eyes, if you ask me, without the blue. But this is again like personal preference, right? So if we go into backlog overview, I can still do the thing where I do like, oh, there is no genre, then I get this. And technically, I would start doing the things that I was explaining to you earlier, right? I hope you're enjoying the music because this is not going to be like on the It's not gonna be on the VOD because some of these are actually like copyrighted. This is Kavinsky. If you've seen Drive, the movie, was it Drive or Driven? It was Drive, bro. No, not Google Drive. You funny Google. Drive movie, bro. Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, that is exactly the movie I was thinking about with the dude. What's his name again? Cast. Show me the name. Ryan Gosling. Oh yeah, he was in the Barbie movie too, right? Now I remember. Also, La La Land. Holy shit, that guy has been making a lot of movies. Which I didn't see La La Land, but I did see like Blade Runner, the remake or like continuation of the story, bro. Because that's cool. Um, yeah, let's edit these. If I click these, you get like you can make sure that you see a cool view of it as well. But how did I do that? Because I had such a like a beautiful way of showing this list where it like showed the side panel as well, but I can't seem to see it now. Or like combined, maybe I used another theme. That is also possible. Because I was able to click it and you would see the details, and now it's not doing that anymore. Is it the Discovery Explorer panel? Is that it? No, it's not. We want the Explorer panel, man. Yeah, I might have been using another theme then. This doesn't make sense to me, you guys. All right, let's try and find it. Which one was it then? Dawn Night. That might have been the one. Yes, yes, yes. You can restart. It is fine. Is it this one? Dawn? This seems more like it. Ah, yes. This is the one, I think. Did it? Is it not doing that thing anymore? Well, this is not how I remember it, though. You can still customize some of the looks in here. It's like it doesn't have to have the names in here either. Oh, but this is the one that I didn't like. See, you can choose these themes. Like even though I'm like showing you Nothing Burger as in terms of games, if I just set it to regular games, I think this is cluttered and unreadable. Hey, thank you, Zen. I didn't even read that. How long ago was that, my dude? You're still on the work call? Holy shit. I'm so bad at this. 20 minutes ago? I'm sorry, dude. Good luck if you're still at work. But yeah, the entire idea here is to make this neater because I don't like this. I don't like the way this is looking right. Even though I have these data, the pictures and everything, it's really cool. There are better ways of viewing this. That is not the one, and I should like remove them. Enhanced grid view extended. Harmony. DH Dawn, was it Dawn? It might have been Dawn. I'm not sure anymore. Wow. Yeah, that looked cool, but I think it just crashed. Yeah, it crashed. We crashed it. Bloody hell. Oh no, did I break the app? Uh-huh. Yes, safe mode, please. Okay, I guess I didn't try that theme yet. What the hell, man? Is it messing up again? Oh my god, I broke the backlog. Okay, stop crashing. I just want like a cool grid view, man. Give me the okay. So it changed back to what it was before. My goodness. Default? No, that's not the one. This one was fine for me, but I had such a cooler way of seeing games. For some reason that like changed. Grid view? Darken? No. Smooth scrolling. Okay, show game names on grid view. Yeah, that is kind of cool. Show game name in cover art is missing. Okay. Yeah. Layout? List view. No. Yeah, this makes sense, but like, why is it so wide in comparison to the rest? Yeah, this can be plain like this. Do I pick this one again? Use game background image as window background. Show on grid view. Wait, what is that gonna do? Like some of them are really cool because you have like full screen modes, which I'm not gonna do. Oh, I see what it's doing. You can select the game and it changes the background to the game. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. Oh, for this view it works. This is cool. Yeah. Achievement view works now? Holy smoly. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so you can follow your achievements in your games and stuff now as well. This is like a plugin I installed because this application has different plugins. How long to beat is working now as well. This wasn't working before my last computer restart though. So these add-ons do work. That is kind of cool. That is good to know. Where is it? Oh. Yeah, other than themes, you also have add-ons. So like the libraries, for example, but I think it's more like the generic ones you want to look for, like the background changer. That is one of those things that I installed. Description editor. But the cool thing is I noticed that there are ways to export your library. So this might be interesting to Zen if he's listening. The moment that you decide to get your library sorted in Play Nights and you have everything good to go and you're like, yeah, man, I went through all the dark boxes in this application, right? Even if you do this and you just set these to none again, you'll start seeing those boxes that are missing details. What was it? Genre none and theory also none. Yeah, and then you get this, right? Those are games that have not been touched by a category yet. And then you can start adding those in. But yeah, once that is done, you can actually export seemingly with this, which means you could put it back into the sheet, you guys. It's full circle. You can get all your games imported in there, and then you can export it back into a CSV and then import it back into here. How cool is that? I think it's hilarious. But yeah, enough of that. So you're gonna be able to like put everything into order and then get all the metadata back out of Play Night because they're cool like that. And then you can have everything in a nice Google Sheet document that you can print out and get laminated, and then ask them to put it in your freaking coffin. You know, at the end of the run you have, which would be cool. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this part of the stream. I think I'm gonna switch it out to Rip Out because I've been wanting to play that game, and like once I do a couple of missions, I'll probably hop into Inquisitor because I haven't played that game, and you guys are like so many levels ahead, and I should really play that game. So I'm gonna do that. Right, so we're gonna hop on to Rip Out, and then maybe some Dark Tide. I said it. Shit. Okay, maybe some Dark Tide. I said maybe. But it'd probably be Inquisitor. I'm sorry. Okay, good. So I'm gonna give it a break for a couple of seconds. We're gonna like, I don't know, 5 minutes. Is that fine? Then I can get some more coffee. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll just get 5 minutes break, and then I can take a coffee, and I'll be back, you guys. All right. See you soon. I'll turn off the music as well because that's gonna probably keep playing when we're in break. But we'll be back in just a jiffy.